bag. I still have the residual cough.
All right, we're live. Let me just pull up the Twitter stream. Let me make sure volume's off. There we go. Oop. And let me.
It's gonna be insane, as per usual.
Yes, probably will be. Sorry, I'm just sharing because I don't have.
Son of a bitch!
What?
Holy fuck!
What? I can't see the screen.
Asmodeus liked a tweet that we're mentioned in.
What the fuck?
On Twitter. Yes, Jeffrey. Fuck? I know. I'm freaking the fuck
Jeffrey.
out right
Jeffrey.
Now. Son of a bitch.
What tweet did you? Which one?
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Which one? I'm gonna know which one.
Oh god. Oh god. Here, I'll send it to you. There. It's
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was one where like
yeah, Jeffrey Vincent Priest.
Yep,
he was on the last episode of Leverage Redemption, actually.
Oh god. I'm dead now. Oh god, now I'm blushing. Son of a bitch. What a chaotic start to this crap show.
Oh shit. Hi. Welcome. This is a weird Barry.
Barry, damn it! Stop it!
Just don't
go away.
Wait. Shit. Hold on, I gotta fix the background. Hang on. What? There we go.
Oh, technical difficulties.
No, I was just a dumbass. So,
same thing.
To a new episode of Films Fandoms with Kaylee.
Now. Oh god.
Cool, the kid did a thing. Shut the fuck up, Barry. I am running on emergency popcorn and chocolate. And leftover
I'm running on coffee. Yeah, I'm running on coffee, popcorn, and chocolate.
Yeah. Because if I look a little paler than usual, and if I have a bit of a cough, I got COVID. Yes, it finally hit me. I'm doing okay. I'm at home, quarantining.
You're hanging in there, pretty much.
Yes. So, yes, this is emergency, Perry.
Oh, my God.
And I got popcorn with kettle seasoning because yes, I'm doing okay. Right? Yes, I'm doing okay. And I did get vaxxed, so I'm good. All right, so let's actually get into this. Another episode, Films Fandoms with Kaylee. I am once again joined by Alex.
Hi.
And today we are going to be talking Leverage, Season 1, Episode 11, the Juror number 6 job.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
It's in like my top 30 favorite episodes from the original OG.
There's only 100. There's only like 70.
I know. That's why I said top 30. The other 40 aren't like really good. They're kind of mediocre for me.
Technically, there's 100 and
104 and almost 5. Yeah, 104
Yes,
as
I
of right
knew
now.
this is going to get brought up, so I'll mention it real quick. Cameron's still taking some time. So, yeah. For their privacy's sake, I'm not really going to get into it, but yeah. That's all I'm really going to say. So, yeah. Sorry. Flight
What?
team.
What, Perry? You don't like that it's just me? How dare you? That I'm hurt by that. That hurts me. Rude.
All right. So before
We will. Now go
yes,
away.
we will enjoy. So
Go away.
before we get into this episode, I'd like to thank our parent company, napco.org, our electrical consultants, westpasystems.com, and if you want to support the podcast, you could go on our Ko-Fi page, which is
Damn it, Perry. Stop.
Films and Fandoms. Aww. Yeah, you
Thank
are,
you.
Alex.
Shut up.
And
I'm blushing now.
since I have to take off work because I'm sick, I could really use the help this month. So if you can please buy a coffee. This content creator, thanks you.
I would if I could, but I'm broke.
But thank you, Perry. It's nice of you to say that, even though you've seen my crazy.
Hey, I think you're crazy too.
Well, yeah, you're kind of obligated to, my bestie.
Okay, fair enough. I walked into that one, didn't I?
Let's see, there's different levels. See, you're the bestie, which means you see and hear everything. Perry is my friend, so he sees this side that I usually reserve for that, and he's also not my brother. So I gotta watch. Listen, sober. Oh, you are actually sober, Perry.
That's a shocker.
Sorry, this is a whole different conversation that we had off camera. Yeah, so let's get into this episode. So, as I said, we are going to be talking. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry, Perry. Hope you feel better. Drink some emergency.
Dehydrated.
Mm-hmm.
That goes
All right, so.
both of you.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking leverage. Season 1, episode 11, the juror number 6 job. Bit of an episode summary is, in order to keep up the legitimacy of one of Parker's aliases, she's assigned to go to jury duty to learn how to consider others. What was supposed to be a low-stakes wrongful death suit turns into a bigger job when Parker discovers someone rigging the trial and asks the team for help to take down a supplement company before the young widow that's suing gets hurt. This episode was directed by Jonathan Frakes. Yes, number 1. Actually, a little bit of a Star Trek reunion. And you'll see why.
Yep.
The writers for this episode are John Rogers, Chris Downey, and Rebecca Kirsch. And Kirsch is actually a name we'll be hearing here soon. And this episode originally aired on February 10th, 2009. And this is on the DVD. This is episode 10. So this is switched with the 12 steps job. And I think this one should have been before 12 steps job. So yeah. So we open this episode at the house of Ernesto and Gloria's. Damn, tongue tied. We open at the house of Ernesto and Gloria Vargas 3 years prior. And Gloria's, got the kettle on. She's making some tea for her husband. She's also kind of scolding Ernesto a bit for staying up because he's studying and he's got work in like 5 hours or something like that. So she has some tea on, or she has some kettle. She has the kettle on the stove making tea, I should say. But Ernesto tells her that he'll go up to bed in a few moments once he's done studying. So she gives him a kiss and they leave, or she leaves to go back to bed. He goes to grab the kettle off the stove and then has a heart attack, yells for Gloria, or grabs his chest, yells for Gloria. She comes running down as he collapses and he dies, but in a kind of dark shot. It goes to, like, the camera goes on the kettle as it's whistling. I have an electric kettle. I don't know if you can see it in the back of my tiny ass kitchen. Seriously, the kitchen's so small. Can't even dance when making breakfast. So, but that little shot of the camera on the kettle is an homage to the movie Rear Window, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. And apparently there's a similar shot.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen the film, but I recognize that shot. He's used that shot several times. Where it, like, focuses on something making noise, either a telephone or a TV, or in this case, in this case, it's tea kettle. And in the movie Psycho, it focuses on the shower head making noise. And
that's like you on something.
That's really cool.
While something else is going on in the background.
Yep.
Audio wise, and
yeah,
let's add that tension.
Yep.
Though I know Perry actually has a film degree, so he's gonna kill me for saying this. But like Alfred Hitchcock is like, no, because he treated women on his set like shit. And like, I mean, basically
he was a bit of a creep.
And yeah, basically psychologically tortured one of his actresses when filming I think it's called Birds.
Yes, I watched that film and I remember what scene it was that you're talking about.
I've never seen it, probably never will.
Oh, it's scary as hell. It gave me nightmares for months afterwards. But yeah, we don't
support.
That was a certain
here.
Yeah, it was a certain scene, and she went to him saying, "I'm comfortable doing this. Can do it a different way." And he's like, "No, you're gonna do it how it's written. Period." and
I think
she had to go
Stanley
get
Kubrick
therapy.
also did the same damn thing to Shelley Duvall in The Shining.
It was close to it. He was borderline almost too much.
No, it was
but
because he basically made her shoot in a very emotionally taxing scene like 30 times or some shit like that.
It was
like to the point where she literally times, could not. Actually. Yeah.
To where the actor who played her husband finally stepped in and was like, "Look, time out. We need to take a break."
Jack
Let
Nicholson,
her go sit down and take a break. Yeah, Jack Nicholson stepped in. He's like, "Look, dude, back off. She needs a break. Let her take a break. We can come back and do this again."
So yeah, we don't support that behavior here.
Basically, treat your actors like they're human beings and not a freaking object.
Mm-hmm. And also, don't be freaking firing your actresses when they end up pregnant. Looking at you, Josh Whedon.
Dick.
And don't be writing storylines for female characters that hurt and women who suffer with infertility. Looking at you, Joss again. Yes, I have a personal vendetta against that man.
Yeah, I want to just shake him and like, where the heck was your brain at? Was it in the jar? What the heck?
Because you can write badass characters without having to assault them.
Yeah, you could do it like you did with the main character, Angel. Make it subtle. Make him have problems with his own humanity or some other conviction. But don't brutalize them in a way that physically hurts the actress or actor.
And Lindsay should have gotten a proper redemption arc.
True. But I mean, in a way, he kind of did. He walked away.
Yeah, after he was freaking killed.
True.
So sorry about that rant. Carry on. So, go to HQ. And the team's coming back from a job. And everyone, they're all kind of like bitching to each other. So, because something went wrong with an elevator.
I like this. This was mentioned in the audio commentary where like they do jobs within a job, kind of like in between, and that's what this is. As it pans, they're like walking in and it follows them, and I like that. And they're like talking about what happened or what went wrong or this person,
because it goes from like the door where everyone comes in and they're upset at Parker specifically because apparently she was tasked with that getting them all from the penthouse, from a penthouse suite.
Yeah, to like elevator ground level or something.
And she doesn't see what the problem is because the elevator didn't decapitate anybody. But everyone's upset about the fact that like she put them in this situation to begin with. And that's what's not clicking for Parker.
Yeah, that's like a common theme with Parker and her ideas for the team as this, like when they do jobs within jobs, where she doesn't factor in that they are humans. They're not like me. I can heal just fine. I'm fearless and stuff, but they could get hurt. They could get killed, and she can't factor that in. And this,
not because she just hasn't had to do that before, so she doesn't know what that looks like.
This furthers the point that she is autistic, and I love it. I was so happy.
Though I do want to say this. Now, granted, this is from 2008, but they say that Parker has Asperger's or something like it. But now Asperger's is actually a very outdated term.
And it's
that
now
actually has
it's
roots
very negative because
with
the doctor it was named after
was a
discovered
Nazi.
this. Yeah, he was a very, very vile man. And
He
so
was a
now
Nazi.
it's either low to mid. Yeah,
he was a Nazi.
basically. Yeah, pretty much. He was a Nazi scientist, actually.
Yeah, so
I did a little bit of research on him. And it's
so
either high functioning autism, which is what Asperger's used to be called.
Now it's just
Asperger's syndrome. It's high functioning. Yes, high functioning autism. High functioning, grade or low, pretty much. And Parker, I think, is more of a mid-grade autism spectrum, from what I can kind of gather, with a little bit of ADHD mixed in there too. So that's something she and I have in common. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I have the nickname of Parker from my boyfriend.
Yeah, so everyone goes. So everyone's kind of bitching. Parker's like, I don't see what the problem is. Like, the elevator decapitate you. Harrison's like, he pipes up from his chair. And it's like, actually, it looked pretty close on the decapitation.
and I like how they all do this.
The door to the conference room. Like, it pans to the conference room, and Elliot, as Parker goes to her office, Elliot like goes to Sophie and is like, you need to talk to her. Like, this isn't the first time she's gone loco.
I mean, it's so Parker. She's gonna go crazy.
Go talk to her.
In that moment,
I was like, I'm serious.
You know what? It was kind of like, it was like the elder son saying to mom, "Take care of my crazy younger sister, please."
Yeah.
So I don't have to.
Like, I've had it up to here, but they're shit. You need to do something about it.
Can you parent her, please?
When Sophie does, she goes up to Parker and is like, Parker?
We've talked about this.
Like, what everyone's feeling was that if you want to take insane risks on your own time, fine. But when we're on the job, you need to consider the rest of us. Right, sorry, I had a popcorn kernel stuck in my gum. Sorry. Yes, this is the first time I think we actually see. Well, actually, no. Second time we see a hot open like this. First time was Bank Shot Job.
Yes.
Because Big Shot Job opens with them in sort of Act 3.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is another episode where we kind of worked backwards. The job's already in motion when we see it, and we go back to the planning pretty much.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like we're sort of like at the end of one job, and it's like what should have been like in between. Like, this is the stuff we would have seen like in between episodes, but we're seeing it. Continuing on, Parker completely ignores Sophie, grabs an envelope off her desk, goes over to Hardison as Sophie's like upset that Parker's ignoring her. And Parker's like, this isn't for me. It's addressed to Alice White. And Hardison explains, like, oh, Alice White's one of, like, Alice White is one of the aliases I created for you. And, like, she's a vegetarian and a bookkeeper. And apparently had a crazy time at her sister's wedding in Phoenix. And that kind of gets a chuckle out of Elliot.
And he kind of smirks, too.
He does kind of smirk. And then Parker sees what's actually inside the envelope. And realizes that Alice White has jury duty.
She kind of panics.
Yeah. Arson's like, damn, I am good. Like, he's all proud of himself. Like he created an alias good enough that it got selected for jury duty. And Parker wants Hardison to get her out of it. But Nate, being the dad's like, no. This is a good lesson for you. This is an opportunity for you to learn a lesson. So you're going to jury duty.
It's like, more like, this is an opportunity for you to learn more people skills.
Yes, this is an opportunity for you. And Elliot is like there's going to be normal people there, Nate.
I have that note.
Yeah, so
Just
Parker's
the way
going
that he
to jury
said it.
duty. Uh-huh.
The way he said it, he's like, there's going to be normal people there, Nate. And Nate's like, so what? She's normal-ish.
So after getting some lovely shots of LA, we see Parker is sitting with the jury, and she's listening to opening statements, and she's sort of very bored out of her mind. And this trial that she's at is a wrongful death suit. Is the wrongful death suit for the death of Ernesto Vargas, who we saw die in the opening. And his widow, Gloria, is suing a company called Live Herbally, who sold a product called Fast Life, which was an energy supplement, and which is like this energy type supplement thing, and was made by William Quint, who is played by Brett Spiner, aka Data.
That's Data?
Yeah, he just doesn't have the gold paint.
Oh my god! No wonder his voice sounded familiar.
So yeah. So we have a bit of a Star Trek reunion here with Brett Spiner and Jonathan Frakes.
I'm so happy now.
And so basically, what Gloria's lawyer was trying to prove is that Fast Life caused Ernesto's heart attack, and that Quint knew about it. But then Parker accidentally insults Peggy, saying she smelled like gravy.
That was weird.
So Quint's lawyer gives his opening statement. And Parker's kind of tuned out, but in the lawyer's ear, she sees a comm. Of course, now her interest is piqued because she saw a comm. And she also sees like a hidden camera in a briefcase.
Yeah. What I thought was cool was that her eyes went up to the guy's person's ear and saw the comm, and then her eyes immediately went down to the briefcase and saw the camera that was like on like it was like just where the handle was, but just to the right of that, right here. And you'll see why he's got both. That person has both of those in just a second.
Yeah, because then we see,
and I'm geeking out.
Yeah, because you see in a warehouse where we see our bad girl, one of our first female bad guy. Well, technically, Arena from Stork Job was the first. But our second bad girl, Toby Earnshaw, played by Lauren Holly, who
NCIS
is on NCIS.
I'm sorry. Yep, she plays director Jenny Shepard, and
she plays Jenny Shepard on NCIS.
What is happening in the warehouse is something called trial science, and she is a trial analysis person. That's what she's doing, that's why they have the comp and the. No, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, she is doing that, but she's not like a trial scientist, not like Bull.
But it's similar a little bit.
It is similar.
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's kind of cool the fact that I recognize that. I was like, wait a minute. And
so
basically what it kind of plays into it a little bit, but she's using it in a different way, but it's doing the same technique. It's profiling people. But in a sneaky, or it's basically a Dr. Jason Bull with a bad guy, basically is what this is. Yeah. Or had bad intentions. And I recognize this because that's what they do. They have the comm in the ear for the lawyer. And also they have cameras all over, sometimes a button cam or something else. And then they have a mirror jury where they can mimic, basically they profile what Lauren's character is doing. They profile each one, and then they make a mirror jury of it, a mock jury from that. Yeah. And funnily enough,
this is a bad show, but
yeah,
I lost interest in it.
It's actually really good. It only went for 6 seasons.
Yeah.
And the head guy is Lauren's co-star, which is really cool.
Michael Weatherly. Yeah.
Yeah. And
after he left NCIS, he did Bull.
Yeah. But the fact that I recognized what that was made me immensely happy, because the first time I watched it, I didn't know that. So now that I recognize what it is, it's really cool, because it's taking behavioral science but using that to profile people, but in this way they're using it for a bad reason.
Yeah.
You're making an evil dossier on someone instead of one to help.
Yeah, so
which I thought
Lauren
was
Holly
kind of cool.
Toby starts sort of coaching the lawyer on what to say and how this opening statement has been tailor-made for this jury. And this is when Parker clocks the suitcase. And Earnshaw sees that Parker's curious. And she takes notice of this, but ultimately dismisses it because Parker's alias holds up.
Yep. But I mean,
so
it wouldn't be like if it was like the way that I think of it is like if it was Sophie or someone like that who's there, not Parker, and they notice that, they would immediately be curious. Or if it was someone more observant, like let's say a cop or something, and they see that, they immediately lock onto it and they know something's up. So that's going to affect how they analyze what they're hearing and how they deduce what to do, basically. And I think that kind of played into this episode a little bit, where it's kind of like They're tweaking that just a little bit. They're tweaking that dial just a little bit with this. It's very subtle, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, so back at HQ, Hardison is showing off his video wall, which currently has like different football teams on it playing, or football games.
Yep.
And like Nate's enjoying this, you know, they got beer, they got pizza and popcorn. Sophie goes to grab a slice of pizza. And it's like, I think it's funny. And that reminds me a bit of rugby. Except, well, you Americans, you wear the helmets and pads and everything so you don't get hurt.
And all three boys are offended.
Right now it's just Hardison and Nate.
I know. Nate and Hardison are both offended. They're like,
Hardison looks at Sophie. Oh no, you didn't. Like you did not just
to laugh.
Nate's just an exasperated dad. And Sophie's like,
he's like, what? And he just looks at her like, really?
Mm-hmm. So Parker comes back in, and Nate like asks how it went, and Parker stands in front of the TV, and she's trying to explain like what all she saw at the trial, and is like trying to ask for help. But Hardison's like not listening, and neither is Nate. He's just telling her to move, and like Nate
rather
and Hardison
rudely, I might add.
Yes. This is like Hardison's just upset that Parker thinks that like someone else made his comms. And Nate's just being a dick. And it's like they both needed a good slap.
And hard one at that.
Mm-hmm.
Or an Elliot punch to the face, either one.
I don't know. Yeah. So Parker.
Sorry, that's my Quinn coming out because like it's like they care about what she has to say, but they don't care right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's very annoying.
Sorry, I had a cough and I had to mute my mic. So, understandably, because Parker's not being heard, she gets pissed off and walks away. And goes like to her office. And Sophie kind of tells Nate like to get his head out of his ass. As like Parker's never asked them for help. Which is a huge step for Parker. Like the fact that she came up to them and was like, I need help. Like something is wrong at this trial. And like we need to get involved. And so she just kind of walks away with her slice of pizza. And Hardison just kind of looks at Nate because Hardison's realized like, yeah, Sophie kind of had a point there.
Yeah.
But like Hardison, we put her on that trial for a reason. And Hardison mutes the TV and tells Nate that when he was a kid, like around 8 years old, he had a foster mom. He was Jehovah's Witness. And she used to make him dress up and go dress him up in a bow tie and go bow tie in a suit and go door to door to spread the word, no matter what the neighborhood was. And he'd like kick, scream, whatever, but she told him that he needed to learn to talk to people. And he learned that while ringing doorbells and being in a bow tie. And Parker never had that growing up. You know, she's cool with jumping off a skyscraper, but small talk is like pure terror to her, and like kind of tells Nate to like cut her some slack. And I love this because it shows how well Hardison knows Parker. And also how they did, like how similar they are, but how different that they, or how similar they grew up, but had completely different experiences. You know, Hardison, you know, grew up with Nana and was fortunate enough to have decent foster parents. Parker wasn't that lucky, which is why they're so different, even with both being in the foster system.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help the fact that Parker, growing up, had autism and was seen as different and needing more control and more security, basically. Mm-hmm. But in that sense, it smothered her. She felt like she couldn't be herself until she met the team. Mm-hmm. And then those walls broke down, which I thought was cool.
And I also love that because Parker can't advocate for herself because she's pissed off and possibly overstimulated. It's Hardison.
She's definitely overstimulated. I could see it in her eyes because I've gotten that look several times.
Mm-hmm. And even me, you know, if you're. While I haven't officially been diagnosed with autism, I've kind of long suspected that I am, and like that is a real thing. Especially if you work in like customer service or are around people all day.
I get like this.
Sometimes you just
and I'm like, I want to just go to the bathroom and sit down,
like,
and just like
leave me the fuck alone. I need to be like, and you need to hide, or you need to just leave so you can be in your comfort space.
Yeah, or somewhere it's quiet. Like for me,
where nobody can bother
and
you.
Sitting down. Yeah. Which for me usually is going into the bathroom and sitting on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Just for like a couple minutes, just to kind of regain my thoughts.
Yeah. And ironically, I kind of learned how to talk to people the same way Hardison did. And that was by talking to people and answering the phone and going up on stage. That's seriously what I did. I was a kind of socially awkward kid. So how I learned to talk to people was by joining theater and also by getting a job answering the phone at my radio station. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, for me, I was kind of out of my comfort zone a little bit at a time. And my first job fully pushed me out of my comfort zone because I actually had to interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of doing the same thing I'm doing now, but this was about a few years ago. This was back in shortly after I graduated. End of 2018, I think, end of 2019. I was kind of forcing myself to get out of my own comfort zone a little bit with this. And my boss at the time, actually, I had a full-on fucking meltdown at work. Full-on panic attack, too. And she was just calm. And she saw that I was kind of panicking. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. And it was over something so small, but it just little bits at a time built up, and I basically exploded. And she calmed me down. She literally calmed me down. She spoke so softly to me and actually saw me as a human being. She kind of knew that I had a little bit of something up here that wasn't quite normal, and it helped. But I kind of learned how to cope with that now. If I feel myself getting kind of stressed out, the first thing I do is I take a deep breath and just kind of do one of these. And I hold it until I feel like I'm going to pass out, and then I let it out slowly. And it kind of redirects panic mode into something I can control, which is my breath. And it works.
And doing that lowers your heart rate too, which helps calm you down too.
Yep. And it's pretty cool.
Because sometimes, or like if your heart rate is too fast, that's what causes a panic attack too. Which actually has happened to me.
Yeah, I've had a panic attack before, and it wasn't fun.
I was with an ex-boyfriend of my mom's, and I was waiting in the car because I didn't feel like getting out of the car while they were, I think, visiting an Amish friend of his. And I remembered I was just sitting in the car on my phone, and then all of a sudden I felt my heart rate quicken, and then I had a panic attack, and it took me a bit to calm down, and then it like legit scared me because like I have medical issues. I've made no secret of that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So continuing on, Hardison unmutes the TV. And this is kind of cute because Elliot then comes in. Now he's got a 6-pack of beer. He's got his 6-pack and he's like yelling like a little boy, like, how about them boys? Come on.
He's like so excited. It's freaking cute.
Flops his ass in the chair. And he's like, what a miss. And he like grabs a beer bottle out the pack, flips it. And Nate's like, nothing. But then he turns to Parker, who's in her office, I think on her phone. And Nate tells Elliot that like Elliot needs to go with Parker to check something out. Elliot's like all right. He's just watching the game. And Nate's like, no, okay. Now.
And he just like looks over at him, like, oh, fine. He gets up with the beer in hands still.
Because it's like, now go get Parker. And they like just kind of like smacks the table. Because he just wanted to sit, watch some football, and drink some beer with his boys. Like you would do on a Friday night. Football, especially if you're a Midwest boy. It's a rite of passage. And then Elliot gets up. He leaves the beer on the table. And then Nate grabs a bottle out of the pack. But it's like, thanks for the beer. And then Elliot goes back. He goes back. He's like, I tell you what, this is not happening, Bubba. You ain't taking my beer. She grabs the beer from Nate, puts it, and takes his beer, full on throwing a hissy fit, pouting, and walks away. Like, if you're making me work when the damn football game's on, you ain't taking my beer. Like, you go get your own damn beer.
He's like, it's not happening, Bubba.
It's not happening, Bubba. You ain't taking my beer.
That he said, Bubba.
And I tell you what.
I want to cry. And I tell you what. His accent, though. His accent came out.
I don't know why that gets me every damn time. But every time.
It makes me giggle. I love it.
Every time I hear him say, I tell you what.
I tell you what. I'm sorry. I had to make fun of that. I mean, I even do it. Oh God, no.
Mother, I promise. I've been behaving. I drink my emergency.
Oh my God, I'm blushing now. Oh my God.
I love you, Mother.
Oh my goodness. Ignore her crazy, please.
No, my mother would agree with me. This is like a Friday night at the Santel household when the football game was on. No, I'm serious. Usually, my brother, I'd be sitting in the recliner watching the game while my mom and her ex were on the other recliner. My brother would be on the couch laying down with the blanket because he always fell asleep. And yeah. So Elliot and Parker follow Quint to the warehouse. And Quint does have this like kind of hippie thing going on. I think the term now would be like crunchy. A bit, maybe. Like hippie kind of thing.
I don't like that term.
Yeah. So Parker and Elliot follow him inside, and we see Earnshaw's people getting ready for the next part of the trial. And Earnshaw and Quint kind of get into this argument because Quint's bitching about the plastic chair he sat in. And Earnshaw's like, I paid for that chair. Like, if you don't like it, go home and suck back some incense.
That was kind of rude.
And this warehouse is actually right next to the warehouse that they used in the Stork job.
Yep. As mentioned by one of the ladies who was on the audio commentary.
It was Rebecca.
Rebecca, I loved her. And when she mentioned that, I was like, what? Frakesy?
Chris.
Yep.
John and Rebecca.
John and Rebecca. Yeah. And Becca. And she was so happy to point that out. And I was like,
sorry.
It made me laugh.
So Elliot and Parker are watching from this like balcony, and they sort of get a name from Quint. And Elliot gets a photo for Hardison to run back at HQ. And Quint and Earnshaw get into it again. It was because Quint's just wanting to settle this. But Earnshaw takes that off the table like winning's the only option. And there's also this clear chessboard. I should mention. and Quint are.
You know what I realized? I have to mention this. The theme for each of the DVD covers
Has to do with chess.
Pieces. Yeah. That's what I wrote.
Have the
I wrote
DVDs,
that down.
But
So
I can't remember. Oh, do you have them?
Yep.
Okay, while you're getting them, I'm getting something else to drink.
Okay. That was quick.
What's the damn cup? Oh. Helps if I actually have my kitchen light on. Am I gonna turn my kitchen light on? Nope.
Nope.
Ah, shit. Sorry, my leg.
But yeah, they actually don't have the.
Ah, yes.
Yep. I got the box set.
I had this. I have the individual ones.
Yeah, I got the actual box set, so I think that's why on the individual ones it's got the different covers and it's got the chess pieces on the first two, I think.
I would say, should I grab mine?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go grab mine.
Grab them.
I'll go grab mine. Shit.
Language.
Freaking cord from my heated blanket. Shit. Dean liked my tweet about the podcast.
Uh-oh.
He's on Twitter right now.
Oh, hell no.
I swear to God. Okay, hold on. All right, we're going in. Hang on. Hang on. I gotta get these in proper order. Shit. Okay. I got the first one. This is.
I have that one. Yeah.
It says, get ready to get even.
Yep. That's the same as mine.
Okay. Shit. All right, but there's fine. Second season. Sometimes good guys make the best. Sometimes bad guys make the best good guys.
Yeah, mine is just the solid brown background.
Boston background. And then season 3, Art of the Con.
Mine's just the white one.
No.
Oh, yours is cooler.
Mine's still. And then 4th season. This is the chess. It's their
mine has the same stance.
Mm-hmm.
Mine has the same stance, but no chest bit, which is disappointing.
Damn belt buckle.
I know. And then season 5.
Season 5. Sorry, season 5 actually does. It's just the final season on mine.
Yours is cooler than mine.
Yeah. Season 5.
Yeah, that's funny that all of our the first one and your first one and my first one are the same.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got the box set.
Oh wait, I want to see.
So that's why.
This is since I have the DVD. This is what the back says. Leverage is a slick and crafty drama following the team of expert thieves to take down corrupt corporations and elaborate high-tech schemes. And this insurance investigator Nate Ford, Academy Award winner Timothy Hutton, exposed the scams and recovered stolen items worth millions, but his life hit the skids when his insurance company allowed his ailing 8-year-old son to die. Years later, Nate gets even as leader of a specialized team of thieves, computer experts, and con artists who right corporate and governmental injustices against honest citizens. To expose corruption, Nate will do wrong for all the right reasons. He will provide leverage. I love it. All right, so
yeah, I love that I have the box set.
And besides the deleted, or you know what, I'm gonna go into the specials because they're on the last DVD, and we're not at the finale just yet. So I'll get into that. Get into the finale, but
back to the episode.
Yes, back to the episode before we got distracted by DVDs. So yeah, Quint argues basically he's like it's his focus on the line. And like if Earnshaw wants to buy his company, to just buy it. And Earnshaw's basically like, you got nothing to lose. I have everything to lose. I have everything to lose. Winning is the only option. And basically threatens to bury Quint if he tries to settle. And you could tell Earnshaw's the one that has all the power here. Because Quint's terrified of her. So while Parker plugs a thing into another thing, I know real technical terms here, as Elliot points out that jury profiling costs a fortune. And Parker's like, well, at the trial, they said Quint's company is small. And basically what Parker did was allow Hardison to gain access to not only what they see, and they've apparently hacked the courtroom security feed, and they've hacked the courtroom security feed and planted their own cameras. So yeah, which is exactly what Nate would have done. And you can see he kind of... I think Nate honestly might be a little bit turned on to that. Hey. Just saying. Yeah, so it's now nighttime and the team gathers again. And Nate mostly apologizes for dismissing Parker earlier. And he goes
a
on
bit too late if you ask me.
Yeah. Basically, he goes on to explain that Gloria Vargas is suing Quint over the wrongful death of her husband, and how this should have been a low stakes wrongful death suit. But Quint's got help. And it turns out that Toby Earnshaw is a drug heiress. And Basically, she owns the company that her daddy built. He's still CEO. Kind of thing, like old money. And of course, Sophie is kind of confused because, like, why would a drug heiress care about a small supplements company? And Hardison reveals that it's because, without telling Daddy or the board, Earnshaw sank millions into R&D for Fast Life in hopes of buying the company. So the reason why Earnshaw needs a win is because if Liv Herbley loses, lots of other lawsuits will fall out, and the buyout will fall through. And as Elliot says, and Earnshaw's out on her ass. And to protect her investment, Earnshaw's going to destroy this widow. Of course, Sophie's first thought is, let's win the case. And it's like, no, we can't do that. Like, we got into this too late. Like, best we can do is conquit into a settlement. Of course, Parker's the one that actually points out, like, but Earnshaw took settling off the table. But then Hardison, who's been watching Parker's alias, sees that Earnshaw is running a credit check on Alice White. And of course, they're all like, or Parker's like, who is that? And they all yell, "You are."
I love it when they talk at the same time. You know I had to.
I know. And it's like, she's buying the jury. And Nate says, not if we steal it first. And I love how during this whole thing they got like these half 360s. And camera goes and it keeps coming from different angles. And I like it. So in the morning, everyone's gathered around again. And Nate asks, who plays chess? Of course, Elliot raises his hand and it's like, I play.
Everybody's like, what?
Or it's, of course you do.
Yep.
All right, so, yeah. And Nick goes on to explain.
And I had, and yeah, in one of my notes is, Elliot plays chess? What?
Of course.
It was confusing.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, and then I'm thinking, oh, of course he does, because it's mind games, it's mental tactics, and he thrives with that. Mm-hmm. It's a different type of chaos.
Mm-hmm. And it explains that chess has 3 parts.
Yep.
Your opening, middle, and end game. Mm-hmm. And in the opening, you want to take control of the board and line up the board and protect the king, which is the weakest piece.
weakest piece or most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Hardison's like, this is a trial. And Nate reminds the team that, like, Earnshaw's already overpowered the Vargas defense and is buying a juror, which is a fast, aggressive opening gambit. And I just now clicked that Gambit is the name of a Marvel superhero. Or no, not a superhero. A Marvel character. Based in New Orleans. Who dates Rogue. And is a thief. Sorry, I don't know why I made that connection. So, Nate knows
You're a Marvel nerd.
I am a Marvel nerd. So, Nate realizes they need to break her momentum, and Parker needs to stall the trial and get the jurors to trust her. And Nate's like compliments, like, you'll be fine. But he forgets that Parker doesn't understand people and won't be fine. But this speech that Nate, where it's like this beginning part about how, like, chess works was inspired by John Rogers' own father and the speech he gave him about chess when he was teaching him how to play. And a little bit on Apollo Robbins talking about the stages of a con. So we see Parker at the trial, and this old woman is showing Parker photos of her grandkids. And Parker says the wrong thing and unintentionally insults, basically calls the woman's grandkids ugly.
I mean, it was bound to happen eventually.
Yes. Yeah. Then it cuts back to HQ, and Nate asks, Nate tasks Elliot and Hardison to see who the pawn is. And Nate, of course, everyone's like, or Hardison's like, well, I'm already running like credit, like background checks on everybody and monitoring finances. And Nate's like, if it shows up as a cash and briefcase, like, go digging. And he means that literally, because then we see Elliot in the dumpster, and Hardison's like cutting open bags, and Elliot's bitching because it's Hardison's turn to go in the dumpster.
Typical older brother, younger brother bickering, and I love it. I love it so much.
Hardison's like, hell no. Like, what if there's some extra crunchy Skippy in there? It's like, they're like, get off with my vocal area, and like, you're gonna have to give me mouth to mouth, and nobody wants that. When Elliot
and Aldous had way too much fun with Christian and Aldous had way too much fun with the scene for the bit that's coming up right now.
Yeah, and then Elliot takes one of the garbage bags throws it at Hardison. It hits him.
Hitting him in
Elliot
the face.
Goes, heads up. And Hardison's like, really? And Elliot.
Yeah, he does one of these. He catches it and
chuckles.
pushes it down and looks at him like, I'm gonna fucking murder you.
Yeah. I remember the audio commentary, John Rogers, when that scene was going on. I think it was John Rogers. He said, like at this point, you just like put the you point the camera and get the hell out of the way, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it was Downey. Downey said that.
It was Downey. Sorry.
I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard. That's what took me so long. I was cracking up because I'm like, how dare you? But I mean, they're not wrong.
Okay.
Because they say often, it's when Chris and Aldous have a scene together, they just roll the cameras and let them do what they do.
Yeah, but that
happens
by
on
this
its own.
point, it's like they had built such like a rapport that it was like just get the point and get out of the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, okay, this is where things get a little bit interesting, and I'll explain why. So, we cut back to HQ where Nate tells Sophie to go after Earnshaw's king, which is Quint. So, Sophie has a meeting with Quint, and she's playing Olivia Smythe Patel, the Chief Marketing Officer of Mumbai International Limited. And they both have like the Zen thing going, and they're meeting at his office. And so Sophie was playing a half Indian woman, half British. And as far as we know, Sophie isn't Indian. Now, I don't know if this is just 2008 lighting with the camera or if this was intentional. But it does kind of look like Sophie like darkened her skin.
It's the lighting.
Okay, because it looked like Quint was a bit darker too, and I couldn't tell if that was the light.
He is because he is a little bit darker skin tone than Sophie is, but they darkened the lighting a little bit.
The lighting in the movie is darkened.
Yeah, to change Sophie's facial appearance, her skin tone a little bit.
It's weird because it's like also like kind of not like it's one thing for Sophie to be like someone else, but like Indians kind of pull on the collar a bit, but it also makes sense for who Quint is.
Fair enough.
But apparently Gina did a lot of research because she was really nervous about this character, so she did her own research. So, moving on. So, Sophie makes Quint an offer of a lot of money and with control of the company. And so Quint's hooked. And back at HQ, Hardison's basically showing Nate what he's found. And it's the foreman basically who's the pawn they discover. And also Hardison reveals that he used a real company and just changed the actual website and just added Sophie's alias onto the website, claiming it's easier that way. Which does make sense. And it's kind of a blink if you miss it. But did you notice when they're showing like the before and after adding Sophie, did you see Dean Devlin?
Yes. I had to go look back at like the picture, and I'm like, wait a gosh damn minute.
I did too.
Who is it?
Well, there's a cameo by Dean. I'm like, what? So I had to back it up, and I saw it. I was like, son of a bitch.
Focus, damn camera.
No,
yep,
I see it. Mm-hmm.
I had to go back and look at that. I was like, wait a gosh damn minute. Holy crap.
And I think this was directly in response to John Rogers' cameo in the second episode. In the Homecoming Job. So, yeah. So Sophie is now with Parker in one of the offices, I'm guessing. And is juggling an apple and an orange. And she's basically trying to coach Parker. And saying they're going to go back to basics with persuasion techniques.
I think she called them tactics, not technique.
Tactics. Yes, you're right. And she gives Ellie an apple. And I know what you're thinking. And Parker the orange. And Ellie, and this like monotone voice is just like, I love apples. Apples are my favorite. And Parker's just like, good for you, Sparky.
Sparky nickname.
And Ellie just turns to Sophie and is like, I don't have to sit here and take this crap.
It was like,
so it was like, do it for
in
me.
My suffering, please.
And of course, Elliot and apples. Of course, what I was thinking. That makes me want to get naked.
Damn it, Kaylee. And
I'm sorry.
Explain this to our viewers what that means. Or what it's from, rather.
Kane's kitchen. So Kane had this cooking show called Kane's Kitchen, and he'd basically we basically cook a dish, have some hot women making cocktails, and then finish off the dish.
Just have fun. Yeah,
have fun.
He would have fun doing it. Yeah.
Very
and there's
off the rails, very inappropriate.
Yeah. There's this one episode. He's making like this, I think it's like a cream cheese dip or something.
But yeah.
Yeah, mixed with like hot honey or something like that.
Something.
And he makes an inappropriate joke.
Because he's eating
about how good it is.
He's eating an apple.
Right off
and he said,
knife.
You're right, he does. And he says, that makes me want to get naked.
Yep. And he does this. And looks up at the camera. With the hedgehog hair.
Yes, he has the hedgehog hair. I'm trying to think what else. There's some other glorious ones.
Yep.
Long sharp knife.
Watch your fingers.
When he talks about like be careful with the hot peppers because like you don't want to like you have it on your fingers and then like you don't want to like touch
your girl.
Yeah, then you don't want to like it was balls to the wall.
It was very inappropriate. It was like NC-17 pretty much.
It was borderline.
Yeah.
Because I think I have wait, hang on.
And that's why he was wearing gloves. He was like, be careful with fingers. That's why I wear gloves when I'm working with jalapenos. And I'm like,
yeah, because you don't want to like touch your girl. Hold on. I'm gonna see.
Oh God.
I have my live reactions to each of the episodes.
Oh
God. But
that one made me giggle.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, the purple pizza. Only CK can make purple pizza look sexy.
Well, he is a sexy man. Sorry, Christian, if you see this. I'm very sorry. But we love you. Bring back Kane's Kitchen. All of the episodes, please. And make new ones.
Oh yeah, because well,
it
started off because I was pissed off I couldn't watch Kane's Kitchen because I just wanted unhinged Kane.
He's freaking adorable.
So yeah.
Yeah, and then I proceeded to I got giggly because I was watching it. And I was like, and this one wanted to watch my live reactions. I was like acting up, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what the hell, what the hell? And then at one point, I was like, somebody kill me.
And it was also like eat with your eyes before your mouth or something like that.
Yeah, and that's
but actually very inappropriate.
Yeah, it's like,
and he puts fucking jalapenos in everything.
Pretty much, because he's fucking Oklahoma, and he likes spicy shit.
Well, I know he's talked about his mom being from New Orleans, and if you know anything about New Orleans cuisine, there's a lot of Cajun, which is a lot of like spice.
Yep. Cajun and Creole in Louisiana, they love their spice.
And I commented about him using a big ass knife to spread the blue cheese. And then just Kane in all caps. Does he know he can't say that makes me want to get naked and not expect consequences? I was like, damn, Kane. And he also had like one button undone and no shirt underneath. So like, and I was like, sometimes I wonder if Kane knows his audience. Then I realized I think he does. Because like, how does that man not expect us to react like that when his fan base is mostly women? Oh, and then I had a whole freak out section when he said his babe.
Yeah,
because he said like his baby likes spice or something. And I was like, what I missed a whole last chapter. Oh, it was like can't, or he had put gloves on, and then he made a comment about like getting pepper oil on your girl and everywhere else. And then I was like, I think I made it to the unhinged part. And his use of noises. Just just the noises he made. I was look, I know they say that eating good food is like having good sex. But come on.
Okay, you know what I just had happen?
What?
It looks grosser than what it actually is, but my stress ball exploded on me. It looks very inappropriate.
Oh, thank God my mother's not watching
Anymore.
Okay, while you get that cleaned up, I'm gonna continue on with some more reactions.
All right.
Oh, he was melting down a chocolate bar, and he's like, he said about how like, that you do this, she's gonna be like, who the hell are you? Like, cause like your lady will be impressed, and he's like, well, he's like, then he could say, well, I'm the guy cooking you a meal. Yeah. And like do or like if you do a good job, then I might get a kiss. Then you might get a kiss out of it. And I was like, oh, you get a kiss for that, Kate. Oh, this is when he just said, no, this is when he made like the rainbow pancakes or something like that.
Oh, yum.
And he said, like a rainbow of just sex.
I'm back. Thank goodness I had.
Rainbow.
Yeah, basically.
Sex.
Yeah, he was very inappropriate. Basically, what happened with my stress ball?
Oh no!
Is the little nub right here came undone. It peeled up on one side, and it was the green one. So I squeezed it like this, and it just exploded all over me. Yep.
Huh. Oh, then you have both the mechanic and a sniper making cocktails. I was like, damn. And then you're gonna get some lovin'.
Yeah, and
oh, then he put fucking butter in his coffee. Yeah. And I was like, mm-mm. Mm-mm. And oh, then he's just like, it was the very last episode. It was like a football, like game day. And it's like, I'm gonna enjoy her and some football.
Damn it, man.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, this boy. Ugh.
Here, this is it. It's like, especially if she's sitting right in front of you watching, she'd be like, who the hell are you? Say, well, I'm got cooking you a meal. And hopefully later on, I could get a kiss. And it's like that, what was it? Kingsman Secret Service. when Eggsy finds the princess. And he's like, aren't you that princess that went missing? She's like, can you get me out? And he's like, if I do, would they give me a kiss? I always wanted to be kissed by a princess. And she's basically like, if you get me out, I'll give you, basically saying like she'll fuck him if like he gets her out.
Basically she was saying, I'll give you more than a kiss.
Yeah. And it's like, all right. But he has to finish taking down the bad guy. And then he comes back and keeps his promise.
Oh.
Well, then we had a whole conversation about how Kay needed a designated adult. Where the hell is that?
Why did I need an adult your adult pop into my head?
Because that's what was said in the chat. Okay, we need to carry on. We've been talking about that way too long. Let's carry on. So this exercise that Parker and Elliot and Sophie are doing. So Elliot tells Parker that she has to convince him that he wants the orange, not the apple. And Elliot goes to take a bite of the apple. And the Parker's just like, I put a razor blade in that apple. And Elliot's like he spits down. Is like you didn't. And he like starts ripping at it. And Parker's like, but you know what doesn't have a razor blade in it? This orange. Don't you want it? And just tosses it up at his chest and leaves.
Yep.
And
I like how he starts literally ripping the apple apart.
Like he wouldn't put it past Parker to put a razor blade in the apple. But it looks at Sophie. It was like, I've had enough of this shit.
So like, don't take care of your crazy ass daughter.
So I was like, you fell for that? And then Elliot goes back like, to eating the apple.
He's like, it's Parker. What do you expect?
So Parker's at the trial. Gets the order from Nate to make the foreman go away. And Parker does that by lifting everyone's things. And then when they go to the deliberation room, squirting mustard on the foreman so everything falls out. And as Parker's sort of returning all the stuff, Peggy suggests that Parker be the foreman. So there, I think, would be an alternate to replace the foreman. I actually don't know how juries work, but I do know that there would be an alternate.
Yeah, basically what happens is if in this case the foreman or the lead juror, kind of like control person, is found guilty of something or like talking about the trial or whatever, they're removed, and the next person in line for that would be a juror, and they would be put in place, and that's the alternate position. Mm-hmm. And that's what Parker was immediately. She's the alternate lead,
because basically.
they need a leader,
or they need to have a whole different person, because you need 12 people on a trial.
Yeah,
or in a jury. Sorry.
Yeah, so Parker would step up from being just a normal juror to the lead,
To
and then somebody would come in to take her place. Yeah, to add to make it 12, basically.
Yeah. But what I love is that you don't actually see Parker like lifting things. You just know she did it.
Yeah. I like that it's implied, and then she's got all the stuff in her hands.
Yeah. Which has a cute little basket.
Freaking adorable is what it is. Hold on, my laptop's about to die. Ugh.
Oh no. Alright, so continuing on. So meanwhile, Clint calls Earnshaw pissed that she tried buying the foreman. And he thought it was handled, and Earnshaw starts like bragging that like she anticipated this and she didn't make it where she's now without having contingencies and like anticipating every move.
Dang it.
So then Earnshaw then buys Gloria's lawyer, who you'll recognize this name is actually John Story. I didn't realize it was him at first until they said it in the audio commentary. When they were asking about who played the lawyer, like, and they said it was like John Story. And I was like, what? So then I went on IMDb and confirmed that it was John Story.
That's funny.
And if you don't recognize that name, he played Lockhart on Almost Paradise. And is actually a comedian and also good friends with Dean.
Of course he is.
So Parker is telling Hardison about the Vargas's lawyer not showing up, and Sophie's also telling Nate about it. And Nate's like, well, if like a lawyer doesn't show up, a mistrial occurs. Of course, Sophie's like, well, I thought Earnshaw needed to win. Nate's like, like good enough, because like they'll have to start over again, and there's no way Gloria's going to be able to afford another trial. So Nate then has this line: we take a pawn, Earnshaw takes a knight. Luckily for us, we have more than one. Now, pawn. Now you have 8. Now in a game of chess, you have the white and you have the black. And this kind of also goes into the whole chess analogy that is throughout the whole series. So each side starts with 18 pieces. Sorry, so there's 8 pawns, 2 bishops, 2 knights, 2 rooks, a queen, and a king. So a pawn is pawns are located on the 7th, on the 2nd, and Jesus Christ. Sorry, my popcorn. This is why I don't eat popcorn a lot, because my throat gets dry. Hang on. Jesus Christ. You are evil. No, I'm not turning my kitchen light on again.
talking to pretty popcorn.
I'm sorry, I'm a mess. Ah, Jesus Christ. All right. So, yeah. Carrying on. Sorry. I'm sorry, I'm a mess. So, a pawn is the least powerful piece, and it's worth 1 point. If it's a pawn's first move, it can basically move forward 1 or 2 squares. But if a pawn's already been moved, and it can go like, sorry, it can go diagonal. And yeah. Now each side has 2 bishops. And a bishop's considered a minor piece, worth 3 points, and it can move diagonally as long as it's not blocked by its own piece. And it can capture an enemy piece by moving to the occupied square where the piece is located. And each side has 2 knights, and it's another minor piece, and the knight's the only piece that can jump over another piece. It can move 1 square left or right horizontally, then 2 squares up or down vertically. Or it moves 2 squares left or right horizontally, and then 1 square
in
up
an L,
or down
pretty
vertically.
much in an L shape.
Mm-hmm. Then the rook is basically on the corners. And the chessboard, they can only move up or down or vertically. The queen is the most powerful piece. Each side has 1. And it can move as many squares, horizontal, right or left, or horizontally, or as many squares as legs up or down vertically. And the king is the most important piece, but it can only move in like a square. So yeah. And I also found...
Yeah, playing chess is really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But also fun. I was in chess club in high school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
So
I just showed my nerd. That's hilarious. Chess club.
And there's also this Tumblr post by on Tumblr, Gar Slabdash, that basically analyzes which character's what chess piece. And I'm gonna kind of do the short version of this. Hardison is the king because it doesn't move as far as quickly, and the game's over if you lose him. And that's the big thing, is usually when you see in later seasons, particularly when the con goes wrong, it's because something's going on with Hardison. The queen is Parker, and she can move anywhere making her the most dangerous piece on the board, which is Parker. Sophie is actually the knight, because the knight's deal is that it's sneaky, only piece that can turn corners, and it could jump over obstacles, which is Sophie's philosophy. as we'll kind of get into a bit later, the rook is Elliot, because the straightforward one goes in a straight line. It also represents the castle walls. And it's a solid
protector.
Like, what?
A protector.
Yeah, which is why it makes sense. Because we do have this whole Black King, White Knight analogy, which is supposed to be. So the Black King, if the Black King represents Hardison as oh yeah. Oh, the idea is like Black King is like being bad guy, which kind of makes sense because the Black King on the chessboard is like one of the weakest pieces, but the White Knight is being more sneaky and a bit more powerful. But what is sort of interpreted as meaning, though, is like Black King is the bad guy, White Knight's the good guy. So, yeah. But the bishop is Nate. And it's because a bishop can go diagonally. Nothing can be straightforward. For the bishop, always has to come at things like from an angle, which is Nate's whole thing.
Of course.
And he and the bishop's also seated in between the king and the queen. So if you think Parker as the queen and Hardison as the king, that makes incredible sense. Because bishops are historic, bishops in history were councils to the kings and queens. It was the bishops who helped plan strategies, which is what Nate does. That's his whole thing. And there's also a bit of irony in that a bishop is it's like one up from a priest or something like that.
It's
bishop's like a big deal in the
bishop is priest is right here.
And it's just
priest is right here, kind of low man on the totem pole per se, and then bishop is kind of mid rank, and then you have the pope.
Yeah, but
pretty much.
It's just ironic given that Nate was going to be a priest. So continuing on, sorry about that chess metaphor. Hardison shows up acting as Gloria's attorney, Joseph Miller. And there's sort of this moment of Parker getting tense because she knows Hardison's not an actual lawyer. And Quint and his lawyer are like, oh, hell, we got a new player on the board. And then Nate and Sophie walk in to join the gallery. And of course, Gloria is confused because she didn't think they assigned lawyers to civil lawsuits. like a court-appointed attorney for civil lawsuits.
Yeah.
Of course, Hardison says, "Do you trust your government, Miss Vargas?" And of course, my first reaction is, hell no.
Same.
And like, especially with like both with Hardison being a black man and Gloria Vargas being a black woman, which, though they even talk about this on the show, where like the system specifically targets people like them. And to be honest, that's a whole other conversation that I'm probably not qualified to give because I'm a white woman. But even as a white woman, I would still answer, hell no, I don't. And I'm probably going to get shit for that but I don't.
There's always going to be some sort of profiling in anything that we do, especially in our post Martin Luther King society. It's a big problem, especially in something like this as a jury. Well, the nice thing about a jury like this, that they don't see that. They don't see your color. They see you as a human being. They see you as an American first.
They're supposed to.
Yeah. The fundamental ideal is that you're a human being. You're an American. Yeah, you're an American first, and everything else.
We all know people lie.
Yeah, pretty much. It happens.
So, I think
whether you want to,
I think actually
admit that or not, it's hilarious. Though.
I think actually one time actually this story is a little bit relevant, but my mom was pulled for jury duty, but the judge, or at least according to memory, at least how this works, or like when you get picked for jury duty is you go in, they answer questions because they want to eliminate anybody who knows anyone involved, like on a personal level. Like you can't have family members on the jury.
Yeah.
And you can't have anybody with a preconceived bias. Like you can't, like, in this case, my mom, the judge that was presiding over the trial, had actually sent my grandma to jail for I think it was like a DUI or something like that. And my grandma has COPD and was like on a bunch of meds and stuff. And they didn't, when she was in jail, they didn't give her medicine. And because she didn't get her medicine, she ended up in the hospital with a bad infection and was like completely wigged out. And like, I think it was like MRSA or something like that. I may be combining a few different things here, but when I went into the hospital room, me and my brother were in like yellow gowns. And like my grandma had it in her head that like my mom was hiding us and like witness protection or something like that, because that's how out of it she was.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And so like she told that to the person who was asking her, like do you have like preconceived biases? Or I think he asked her, like, could you give like an unbiased opinion or whatever? And she said no, because she did not like that judge because of what happened. And so she got out of, that's how she got out of jury duty. And ironically, it was the same judge who sent my grandpa to jail. So my mom's dad. So, and you'll wonder why I'm so fucked up. See, I told you why, didn't I? Like why he.
I think briefly before.
Yeah, I think I might have, because I found out on Facebook. That was fun. So yeah, carrying on. Sorry. Of course, Sophie doesn't think that like Hardison could win this case, but Nate's like, no, all he has to do is just stall until we can get Quinn to settle. And Hardison's got the most boring stuff that he feels is completely relevant to this trial, because his whole point is he's stalling. So apparently, Chris Downey actually used to be an evil lawyer. I know. So he consulted a buddy of his in the U.S. Attorney's Office and ran the episode by him. And after like a 5-second pause, he was like, holy shit, that would work. Which I always love when they say that in the audio commentaries, where they're like, oh yeah, like we consulted a oncologist and like a radiologist or something like that. And like they say that would work. Or when Apollo Robbins says, congratulations, you just committed a heist. You just planned a heist.
A man who pickpocketed a president.
Yeah. who does this for a living.
Yeah, and taught our Parker to be Parker.
It's like, oh no, you just planned a crime. And when they
congratulations,
freaking Homeland Security
like contact them, was like
contact them,
dial it back. This is potentially illegal.
Because it turns out the plan that they had come with could actually like really fuck up the water supply or some shit like that. You know which episode I'm talking about. It was Last Damn Job.
My favorite episode. For reasons.
Yeah, I know what reasons.
Oh, shut up. No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Nuh-uh.
All right, carrying on. So they're so Parker goes back to deliberation room, and of course Peggy is sort of just bitching to bitch about Hardison going on and on. And she mentions how she's hungry, and Parker's like, yeah, I'd like kill for a steak. But of course Peggy's like, wait, I thought you were a vegetarian. But Parker like tries backtracking, but Peggy's like it's okay, we all cheat a little bit. And like she's a nutritionist, and even after like telling people to eat healthy all day, she'll still go home and plow through a tub of ice cream.
I mean,
and
who
Parker
wouldn't
actually
want to pop through and
Parker
get
actually
ice
gets
cream?
excited. I know, but Parker actually gets excited because Peggy told her a secret, and that's what friends do.
Oh,
And
adorable.
there's a little bit of foreshadowing here because John Rogers mentioned getting Hurley and Peggy back for another episode and forming a second leverage team.
And
which they do come back, and we do get a second leverage team. We get 12. Well, after the latest step, isn't it 13?
Nope. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah, it's 13 now.
Would it be? Or would they join one of the other teams?
Nope.
How big is the team?
Their own team. They're their own team. It's 13 now, not 12.
Right, so
that's fitting. Today's the 13th.
It is.
All right. And there's 13 leverage teams now.
Carrying on. So back at the warehouse, Earnshaw is asking her guys to analyze the footage. And of course, like Quinn asks what his role in the company is going to be once Earnshaw's bought it. And Earnshaw dismisses him and like goes into Harson's cover, which is kind of like too good because he's like Harvard lawyer or something like that. Is what Harson made his cover to be.
Of course he did.
And she's like, look, this guy's hourly rate's got to be more than what this widow makes. But the guy can't find anything wrong with the alias. But then Quinn asks again, like, what's my role going to be in the company? And then Sean kind of snaps at him and is like, whatever, like, you will be doing whatever you want with your free time. And Quinn's like, what if, like, I want to stay? And Ershaw's like, what you want is irrelevant. And you can see Quinn kind of taking offense to this. So it's like Sophie had planted a seed earlier about, like, as soon as Earnshaw buys your company, she's going to, like, cut you out. But you go to me, you'll be a part of the company. And speaking of Sophie, back at the trial, Quinn finds Sophie and asks her, like, why she offered him that much money. And, of course, Earnshaw doesn't like that Quinn's talking with anyone else, so she raids his computer, emails, and calendar. And Sophie sort of sells the idea to Quinn that, like, fast life would be a hit in India with all these outsourced American jobs and people working graveyard shifts. And, of course, Quinn's nervous about future lawsuits, but Sophie assures him that, like, they can handle any lawsuits that come out. But Quinn wants to see her operation, so they schedule a video call at midnight as there's, like, a 5-hour time difference between India and the States. Sorry. Stretch. So Sophie tells Nate as he walks by that, like, they're close, basically. And Harson's also walking by, and he's nervous because he quite literally cannot stall any longer. And he cannot make this more boring than it already is.
Yeah, he's borderline panicking. He's about to have a fucking panic attack right now.
He is. But Nate's like, look, this is the middle game. This is where you trade pieces and find a weakness. Like, we need more time. And Harson's like, Nate, I literally cannot make this any more boring or slow. And you know why they say justice wears the blindfold? So you can't see that Justice is asleep.
I mean, that's actually true and kind of fair.
Yeah. And
but also hilarious.
And the reason why they say even that Justice is blindfolded to begin with, or Justice is blind to begin with, is because Lady Justice, who's sort of the figure of justice for the judicial system, wears the blindfold. And I remember actually seeing political pieces, particularly here recently with the whole Roe v. Wade situation. There was a lot of views in Lady Justice and like essentially her being covered up. And so yeah, it's a very important symbol. And that's kind of why it's mentioned. Yeah, Nate obviously thinks that there's a whole reservoir of boring that Hardison is yet to tap into. Which Hardison does. And it's literally so boring. Like, I would be kind of getting pissed off if I was on that jury. So, back at HQ, the office has been decorated to make it look like the Mumbai International office. And they're doing a video call. And after the video call, Quint likes what he sees. But Sophie puts Quint sort of on a timetable as like he needs to settle because she can't give him much more time, basically. I'm assuming Quint's thinking it's because she's got to like fly back to India or whatever. But she puts him on the timetable. And as it turns out, they're just in another room of the HQ, and the guy that was on the video call, Javi, is actually a friend of Elliot's named Donnie. He was very Scottish. And Elliot sort of got the high pony going.
No, he sounded like he was Irish, not Scottish.
It was Scottish. They originally, I think, were going to make it Irish, but he was Scottish. That was Scottish.
Okay, it was Northern Scott. It was Northern Scott. It was a little bit more.
Basically, the guy's friends with Elliot. And Elliot.
Who the hell does Elliot not know in this universe?
But Elliot's like, I think thanks for coming down on such short notice, man. And Donnie's like, I did fish, laddie. What are friends for? I don't even know what he says. But Elliot's like, all right, beer's on.
I can tell
beer's
by
on me soon.
Yeah, and they he was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. That's what friends are for. I got your back, basically.
So basically, Elliot got him to do this with the promise of beers soon.
That is Irish stereotyping. Well, and Scottish stereotyping at its finest.
Yeah. And
but it's
also
true.
Midwest. Sort of Midwest. Like Southern Midwest. Am I wrong?
Well, no. Considering I am part of that group.
You tell me you didn't pay someone with the box of box of pizza and a 6-pack to move all your shit?
Well, okay, it's actually no, it would be pizza and a 2-liter of pop.
It might have just been a 6-pack of beer for people who helped my mom move out of my old place, because everyone I know is basically a fucking alcoholic. So another reason why I'm so fucked up, everyone I know is basically an alcoholic.
And Parker does another outfit change.
She does. Because it's a different day. And
no, this is like the 4th fucking outfit change
it is
done in this episode.
Yes.
4. I've counted.
No, she comes out and Hardison, compliments her outfit and tells her to relax, and that he's sure they're going to get a call from Quint to settle before they even get to court. And Elliot joins and Parker says that Alice isn't so bad and her shoes are nice. Elliot's like, they're your shoes.
He gets kind of annoyed.
He does. But they go to the conference table with Nate and Sophie, and where Nate reveals that Earnshaw bought Mumbai. And everyone's kind of shocked except Nate. But Parker's like, we're screwed.
Yep.
Because Earnshaw just spent millions of dollars on a company that like Sophie didn't actually work for. And then we started backtrack a bit to one of Earnshaw's guys given like the papers for like the CEO, I think, to sign.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's a bit of a language barrier, so he's like, what is even happening right now? And the guy's like, just sign the papers. And also, this kind of goes into when they go too big, it sort of falls apart. But it's the fact that Hardison used a real company is what bites them in the ass.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to make a better alias for Sophie by using a real company. But that's
that
what
ended up being
bites
kind of a
him
downfall.
in the ass. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, Elliot's first question is, how did Earnshaw even know we were talking a deal? And Sophie's the one to realize, like, they're watching Quint.
Yep.
And, of course, Hardison assumes that, like, she's watching his emails, just his phone, and possibly has a couple guys on him, too. And Parker's like, well, what do we do now?
This made a bad situation even worse at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going to shit.
Yeah, because Nate
literally.
Nate says, like, well, now we got to win the trial.
They're like,
and just walks up and leaves.
What?
Hardison's going to follow him, like, hey, like the impossible trial, like the trial that can't be won.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate's like, yep, that's the one. Like, real fucking helpful, Nathan.
Like, damn it, Nathan.
Like, A+ parenting. A+ parenting there, Nathan.
Oh, I wanted to hit him so bad.
Yeah, because then Nate and Hardison go in the kitchen, and because Nate's trying to get a cup of coffee, and Hardison's upset because he's like all I had to do was stall, and I can't win, and he can't win a real trial because he isn't a real lawyer. And of course, Nate like sort of laughs at this, and it's like, oh, and like real lawyers aren't just pretending to be daddy, trying to be in daddy's shoes.
Yeah, he kind of dismisses real lawyers.
And is like, the other lawyer's getting his lines fed to him.
Yeah.
Hurston's like, no,
make something
Nate,
up, basically.
I've already rested my case. All I got's the cross-examination of their witness and my closing.
And that's it. That's all I have.
Yeah.
And he's
Nate,
basically said, I'm screwed.
Yeah. Like he doesn't have a
What do
lot
we
of
do?
time left. All he has is the
Yeah.
cross-examination and the closing. And Nate tells Hurston to just to talk to the jury, and he's been doing this whole life, just put on his bow tie and ring the doorbell. And then we get a parallel with Sophie and Parker. Because Parker's like taking the cards off the cork board that was in there. And Parker's also having her own freak out moment because she doesn't think she's going to be able to convince a whole jury. But like Sophie tells her that like she's been doing a good job on like persuasion techniques. Parker's like, yeah, with you guys, but like the people in this jury are normal. I'm sorry.
And this right here, I have her quote of like, they're normal people. And that implies that Parker's not normal. And I put in quotation marks, "Aw, autistic Parker."
Oh, but even Sophie
Because
is
that's
like,
what the audio commentary said.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you're overthinking it. You'll be fine.
And Sophie's even like, no one on that jury is normal. Of course, Parker's like,
Fair point.
the old lady who knits pot holders at lunch isn't normal. So it's like the one that's been showing you pictures of her grandkids. And it's like, Parker, did you notice anything off about those pictures? Of course, Parker's like, no. And actually, I did kind of pick this out. If you go back to actually see the photos, you can tell that like not only are they really worn, they're old.
Yep. And they're kind of faded a little bit.
Yeah. And which means she hasn't gotten any new pictures of her grandkids
in a very long time.
Yeah. Of course, Sophie then tells Parker that like she hasn't seen those grandchildren in years, and she's trying to convince everyone that like they're all still one big happy family. Sorry, I accidentally. Okay, there we go. Of course, Parker's like, you don't know that. Sophie's like, Parker, reading people is what I do for a living. And Sophie's like, the other guy, Charlie, with the 5 kids. Of course, I don't know why, but Parker guesses he's gay. But Sophie's like, bulimic. Trevor, the frat boy, however, yeah, super gay.
I love how she just blatantly just says it and just like moves on.
Yeah, which, I mean, it isn't a big deal, but it's the point here, because then Parker's like, well, what about Peggy? And so it's like, actually, Peggy is disgustingly normal, but like, they all have like their own Alice White. You just happen to give yours a name.
Disgustingly normal.
But what I love about this scene, though, is it shows how it is sort of human nature to want people to perceive you in a certain way. And I've like personally experienced this, particularly during like the traumatic moments in my life. I like put up a front, I was okay, but in reality that was like, it was like I was fighting a war inside my head that was on silent, if that makes sense.
Yep, I've been there before. And it sucks.
Like I was like watching a war movie on TV, but it was on mute, is what it honestly felt like. And honestly sometimes still feels like.
I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
Mm-hmm. But it's just this idea that it's like human nature to want to be perceived a certain way, and that everyone has like their secrets and things that they don't want other people to know. And I also love how that continues on to the idea that Parker learns how to be a human by learning how to grift.
That's so cool.
Because you wouldn't know, you think grifting and you're thinking, like how to deceive people. But in reality, grifting is really just giving people what they already perceive you as.
Yep. It's basically it's checking the perception of what they see you one way and you're playing into that perception and acting like that perception to make it real. Basically.
Like in this case, Sophie has a really long ponytail, puts on an accent, puts on certain jewelry, and Quint already assumes that she's this like big shot of a company. I know, because that's what Sophie does. She puts on an outfit or an accent, changes up her body language, and she lets the other person do the work for her. And I just love that. All right, so carrying on. So we get another adorable little scene where it's like Nate gives Hardison his briefcase, and then Sophie gives Parker her lunch, and then like sends him off to court. But then Elliot comes up and it's like, oh, like, well, we don't have court today, but we got work to do.
He's like, he grabs onto him and pulls him back. He's like, oh, hold on, get back here.
Nope,
the freaking audio commentary like, for this part.
Like sending the kids to like school, sending to court.
And then there's Elliot. It's like, no, get back here.
Like, nope, we got work to do. And Elliot's like, am I gonna like this work? And it's like, not the first part. And so then we see Quint getting in his car, which is actually Dean Devlin's electric car.
Of course it is.
So they drive away. He drives away, and then the two guys in a car go to follow Quint, and then Elliot just comes out, pretends to get hit by him, or no, gets hit by him, goes down. Of course, the guys get out to investigate. Elliot knocks them both out. Pretty sure by hitting one in the junk, though I could be wrong.
No, actually, I watched that fight scene a little bit. That's what took me so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also listening to the audio commentary as I was watching it. He steps on the guy's inside of the guy's foot. Leaning him.
I see. Okay.
Way, and then hits him right here in the chest, and he drops. Right solar plexus, which is right here, right below your diaphragm, basically. And if you get hit there, you drop. And it was freaking hilarious. And I wrote that Elliot's still relying on his retrieval specialist instincts at this point. That's something he would do. He had his head on the swivel and saw that something was about to change, and he's like, bring it on.
Yeah. So, but he knocks him out and puts him in the trunk of their car.
Yep.
And then Elliot says he planted the device in Quint's engine and took care of the guys Earnshaw sent after Quint. And he gets on the phone and like disables Quint's engine, which is funny because that means that this was like a 2-part task. plant the device in Quint's engine, and then get hit by a car to knock out the goons that are following Quint. Which means Elliot hated putting the device in the engine more than getting hit by a car.
Yeah. Well, why did I got hit by a car? Get over it! Popping in my head.
Boost. Oh, he was so pissed off.
Oh my god. I'm actually crying now because I'm laughing so hard.
So
oh my
pissed. God. And it comes as a shock to absolutely no one that is actually Christian Kane getting hit by a car.
Fucking Oklahoma.
Yep. And I think it was
he
John
enjoyed
Rogers that made a joke about watching the dailies.
He enjoyed that a little too much.
Yeah.
Because it's Christian. He loves doing his own stunts, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. I can't wait to get to Big Bang Job in the audio commentary. I think it was like John Rogers found out Beth Riesgraf and Aldous Hodge were actually running on top of a train.
I have the little bit from the audio commentary. CK, they're running it down with him. He's like, okay, Chris, you're gonna get hit by a car, and this is John talking to Christian. He's like, okay, do it. And he's like, I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? And then Downey says Christian does his own stunts. That's awesome. And then I put in quotations, that's good and bad.
I just realized what we're going to get into in the next episode.
And did you recognize the name? Did we mention the name Joseph Miller already in Philadelphia? I thought that was really cool. I was like, wait a minute. That's Miller. And then when they said it, I was like,
wait, is that Tom Hanks' character in Philadelphia? Oh,
yep, Joseph Miller.
Was that. Mm-hmm. That was that connection.
Philadelphia reference. And they mentioned the Rockford Files in the audio commentary, and Becca mentioned it, and I'm like, that's something I need to watch.
All right, so carrying on. So Quint's engine breaks down. Nick comes over, as this hippie on a bike wearing this stupid headband. And of course, Quint calls his lawyer saying that his car broke down and he'll be late. And Nate distracts Quint long enough to lift his phone and then toss it to Sophie, who's driving past and just has her hand through sunroof.
That's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm. But it was digital. It wasn't real.
But still, it's really cool.
It's a cool shot, but
I know.
I can see why it's digital, because who knows how many cell phones that would have broken.
A lot.
So back at the trial, the expert testifies that Fast Life had nothing to do with Ernesto's death, as he had an enlarged heart. And it's Harson's turn to cross, and he actually apologizes to Gloria for not being a good lawyer. And they say this in the audio commentary. Of course, Gloria says that he is the best lawyer they've ever had. And I think it was John Rogers again who said that what makes Harson a good lawyer is that he gives a shit about this case. Which there is something to be said about that.
I mean, it's true.
Honestly. He actually gives a shit and is wanted to make sure that this young widow is taken care of. And yeah, so then Hardison goes to cross, and he pulls out this thing where the witness or the expert doctor was on the no-fly list because he tells a story about how he got drunk, broke rule number 7, and is basically attacking this guy's credibility, but specifying that's also called the terrorist watch list. So he's like framing it, and it's actually an impressive move. I'm not gonna lie.
That's cool.
I don't know how Hardison thought of that, but yeah. And what's funny is the person who plays that expert doctor, Armin's his name, the actor, is married to the judge. Married to the actress who plays the judge. And her name's Kitty.
Oh, that's cute.
Yep. Apparently they casted Armin as the expert. And they're like, well, we need a judge. Why not just give it to Kitty? So they gave the role to Kitty.
And that's adorable.
Mm-hmm. She's actually like pretty good as a lawyer. Like she's doing more than she needed to. Like even she's shown to be
very impressive. Like
yeah, like she was legit. Even impressive with Hardison's like attack on this guy's character.
and then during the rebuttal, she like stares Hardison down for just a second.
Yeah,
and just like looks at him, and the thing with her eyes scared the hell out of me. I'm like, nope, not looking her in the eye. Don't look her in the eye. Nope, nope.
All right, so carrying on. So Nate's back at HQ and asks Sophie for an update. And all Sophie says, Sophie's just like at this office, and she says she's hit 3 out of the 5. And Nate tells her to wrap it up as Hardison's about to give his closing statement. And this closing statement. So Hardison, he goes up and he goes into this speech and is like, a week ago, you all strangers, and you received an envelope in the mail. Like, the one says City of Los Angeles on it, and you look at it like, oh God. He gets them like chuckling a little bit. Gets him a bit loose. And he says they watched the trial, and when they started out there were strangers, but now they've bonded and maybe even made friends. And then he goes to Parker, looks at her and says, it's not as bad as you thought, right? Which I thought was adorable.
I like how they mentioned that in the audio commentary. And they're like, I like how Downey even mentioned it. He's like, I like how he walked specifically over to Parker and looks her right in the face and just stares at her for a second and says that line and then turns away.
I just you listen to the lawyers talk, and you listen to this trial, and then the judge asks you to deliberate, and you're wondering, you have doubt, how do I know Fast Life caused Ernesto Vargas's heart attack? I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. But he says how that envelope entrusts them with the most important tasks of citizenship, which is finding the truth, and they dare not give that task to one single person, but to 12 complete strangers. And all he asks is that they work together and find the truth. And he has faith they're going to find the truth. And just, I love that, like, that I have faith in you. Like, that is such. Because, like, in a way, he's also talking to Parker. When he says that, he has faith. Like, he's also telling her that, like, I have faith in you, that you're going to do this. And I'm a sucker for that every damn time. I have faith in you. And I think, what the hell was I? What was I watching? What the hell was I? What was I? What's the MacGyver reboot?
It was said in the MacGyver reboot, I think, maybe twice.
It was between Mac and Riley, though.
Yep.
Or they said it between Mac and Riley, and then I think with Desi and Mac.
Yep.
Still pissed at you, CBS, for canceling that show without a 6th season. Had they would have given them a season 6 to, like, wrap everything up properly, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would have been slightly pissed, but I would have been slightly less pissed. But you get, I'm still pissed about that. And
calm
also,
down, short one.
Sorry. Freaking Mac Riley were gonna be endgame. So back to HQ. Artisan goes up to Nate, and Nate gives him a glass of whiskey. And, like, they toast his Artisan's like, take it as a compliment. Like, like, the Artisan, like, sets the glass on the table, and they go to the monitors and watch, because basically it's the end game now, and it's up to Parker, basically. And you could see the zoom in on Parker's face, and she is terrified.
Yep.
Like, she is scared. And what's interesting is you see everyone's faces. You see Nate's sort of analyzing everybody, probably trying to gauge on, like, who's on their side. But she...
I coughed.
So, oh, sorry. Just sounded like a sneeze. Sorry. And Hardison, you can kind of see he's a bit stiff. And he's concerned for Parker because he knows this can go either way. But he also, I think, knows how uncomfortable Parker is, too. Elliot's kind of, like, spinning in his chair a bit, but he's confident. No, I just realized now where I heard that I have faith. Fucking librarians.
No!
It was the librarians, and...
That was a librarian's reference.
No, I don't... Which episode was it? What was the name of the episode? I don't remember what the name of the episode was. But basically, Jake's been pissed at Cassandra because she's using magic.
Yeah, I think it was during...
They basically get locked in a cabin.
3.
It was season 3. Basically, they're in the cabin, and turns up. Then they get caught with this like crystal thing, which is in Cassandra, and there's some weird camera placement. They're not camera placement, but Jake was kind of being gross, looking at Cassie's.
He was being a boy.
He was being a boy. But the point is that, he's been like harping on her this whole time about using magic, and he's blaming her for the situation they're in, because if she hadn't used magic, none of this would happen. And of course, Cassie's like, well, no, if I didn't use magic, like, we wouldn't have the crystal right now. They have this whole argument about it, but then after they get found out, Jake says about how magic is a tool, and he's looking at Cassie. And
he's just staring her down.
Tool. And he says, magic is a tool, and I have faith. And then Cassie's able to use magic to get them out of their predicament. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of pissed at Jake for harping on Cassie. Which reminds me, I need to work on my freaking librarian's fic. So anyways, yeah. And Sophie is worried. But also that Nate giving Hardison a drink and toasting is actually another personal reference to John Rogers and his father. As after he did his first stand-up show, John's dad took him to a bar and bought him his first drink. Or bought him a drink. And it was the first time he had drank with his dad. So, cool little father-son moment there. Carrying on. So back at the warehouse, Earnshaw is sort of watching the feed with the lawyer. And is like, she picks up one of her pieces and is like, it's odd. Like, that's just like, we buy a juror. We buy a juror. That juror gets removed. We take the lawyer. Another lawyer shows up. Company tries to take Quint. I take the company. It's like, it's almost as if it's ridiculous. But she dismisses it. Because obviously there's no way someone could outsmart her. So back at the trial, we see Parker taking a pull.
I found the librarian's episode that you were mentioning.
It was a reunion.
Yep. I was just getting ready to say that.
I could say, did you find the actual quote or?
Let me see if I have it on the IMDb.
I don't know, you probably. No, come on. Split view. IMDb. No, oh, seriously, you're not gonna. No, oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, this is gonna bug me. Librarians Guide Season 3. That's not season 3. That's season 3. Reunion of Evil. Damn it. Quotes. It. Yeah. Why don't you have quotes?
That sucks. I didn't know. It was filmed. The exterior of that episode was filmed at the same location as the freaking Shining.
Yeah, and also, Stone says to Cassie, "Obviously, you've never been in a bar when the Sooners were playing Oklahoma State." That's because he actually attended the University of Oklahoma, nicknamed the Sooners, who have a large rivalry with Oklahoma State. Because it might surprise some of you, but Christian actually went to the University of Oklahoma to study art history.
Yep. Just like his character Jacob Stone.
Just like Jacob Stone.
But I think he got bit by the acting battle of his freshman year and dropped out and packed up his shit in his truck and drove to LA.
I thought he got kicked out because he was drawing.
Nope, he dropped out. He dropped out. He dropped out. I know
because he
typically told a story.
Go to college to major in beer and girls, how the song goes. I swore I heard him say that in an interview.
Yep, he did.
But yeah, so sorry. Back to the episode. So we go back to the trial. Parker makes her argument and then takes a pull. And Earnshaw thinks that it's in her favor, so she switches the monitor to the courtroom and decides not to tell Quint, as she found out that his car didn't break down and that he was visiting her top competitors. So Earnshaw decides to play Quint when he comes in. So she gives him basically 3 numbers. 1, if they win. 2, if they lose. And 3 is if he sold her the company right then and there. And he agrees to sell the company right then and there. And they also get the call that the jury's back. But what's interesting is during this scene, Earnshaw, I don't know if it's the color suit she's wearing, but Earnshaw's got this like Sharon Stone Basic Instinct kind of vibe going. Like there's something almost like sexy about it. Because she's like playing Quint to get what she wants. And she knows exactly how to play him too. And there is something sexy about being played. Like, maybe that's just me being gay as hell. But so it kind of reminded me a bit of Sharon Stone and Basic Instinct. And if you don't know what scene I'm talking about, basically Sharon Stone is in a room. She's sitting in a metal chair. She's smoking a cigarette and she's wearing this dress. And these guys are like interrogating her and watching her. And all she does is cross her legs. But when she crosses her legs, you see she's not wearing any underwear. And it's a very sexy scene. But like that's the vibe I kind of got, is like there's power. There's power in being, or power is sexy.
I mean,
So
it's
characters,
how you channel that. You can channel it in either direction,
yes,
dark and
yes.
scary, or sexy, or both.
Or a combo of both if you're into that. Hey, I don't judge. But there is this idea that, like, particularly with the female characters, ironically Sophie too, she uses this too. Uses that phrase, power is sexy. Which is probably, and especially with Tara, when we meet her, she is the epitome of that.
True.
And so yeah, so carrying on. So everyone goes back to the courtroom, and Parker announces that they find in favor of Gloria for $5 million, which means that Liv Herbley now has to pay $5 million to Gloria. And since Gloria won, now like Earnsha's basically gonna be losing all of this money, possibly go bankrupt because she bought the company. So yeah. Understandably, she's pissed. And the lawyer's confused, and Quint's kind of amused by this. And then we get a flashback to Hardison messing with the feed to Earnshaw's monitor. So she'd be comfortable, basically. And of course, Earnshaw starts accusing Quint of like visiting her top competitors, looking for a better offer, and how he had his men beat up her guys. And he's like, "What men? I don't have men. I wear sandals." And we get another flashback to Sophie, and when in the office we saw her in earlier. Basically, she just took Quint's phone to 5 of Earnshaw's competitors, like pinged them at that location, and then left. But what's funny is there's this guy who comes out to talk to Sophie, asking if she had a meeting. She's like, "No, but I was just leaving." And he's one of the day players. And he auditioned with a song for Jonathan Frakes. They joke about it because she's like,
I remember that.
how would I not like use it? Like, it casted him.
I remember hearing that in the audio commentary.
Like,
you could hear the laughter in their voices.
No, I respect it. I respect
Oh
it. I
God.
respect it. Power move, day player. Power move.
But that's embarrassing.
I respect it. Part of the audition process is you got to do something that sets yourself off.
To catch somebody's attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Then writing a song about the director will do that. Yeah. So now it's the gloat. Sophie tells Quint he should have settled. Then Elliot leaves after Sophie, and then Nate, he goes up to Earnshaw, reveals her clear chess piece. She gasps. He stares her down, drops the piece in her hand, walks away. And the only thing that's missing is a checkmate, bitch. Was that not a checkmate, bitch?
Yep.
Like the head cock and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the chess piece is Tim's idea. Like the two chess players meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, Becca said in the audio commentary that whole chess piece bit was Tim's idea, and she loved it. I mean, I did too, because he never broke eye contact.
He didn't. He
stared her down and just
gives her the piece, which is the ultimate power move, because like that's her chess piece, which means he was in her space.
Yeah.
And it was like he invaded her kingdom.
Pretty much.
And that was the proof.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like in a movie or like a show when like a goon or the bad guy goes up to like the victim of a crime and they're like, all right, it's like, how do I know that like you're the one behind it? And they pull out like something that's been established as being like their personal property, like a bracelet, or like it something usually involves like the kid.
Yeah,
like if the person has a kid, it's usually like the kid's bracelet,
or like a stuffed animal belonging to the child, or something like that.
Yeah, because then that's like the power move of
it's like I'm invading your space.
I have something of yours. I got close to your family, which means I know where you live. Like I know your routine. You know, and that's a power move, and there's a false sense of security with that. So I love that, though, because it is a genius way, really, to get a power move and gloating. Like I love that. So, sorry, back at HQ, Parker's all but salivating over a fast food burger, and she's like, "Can we get fast food every time we make the bad guys go away?" Like, I support this. And there's also a 6-pack of beer on the table as Elliot and Sophie are watching the game. Yeah, then Nate and Hardison are walking in. And Nate tells Hardison,
yapping away.
Yeah. Hardison's like, or Nate, like, sort of congratulates Hardison for winning the trial without cheating. And Hardison's like, Nate, I hacked the government no-fly list to humiliate an expert. And Nate's like, excessively cheating. And it's like, you could like, you can put your mind, like if you like put your mind to it, you can do anything. Person's like, you know what, you're right. Like, I'm gonna go be an astronaut. An astronaut. And it's like, no, like, I mean, if you applied yourself, or it's like, you know what, I could be a surgeon, like ER, which is funny. And this is spoilers for
yeah.
This is a spoiler for Love Redemption season 2. But in season 2, Hardison goes to space.
Why did... Okay, this was popped into my head. Space Force. I'm sorry. That's what popped into my head.
Because, like, it is kind of funny that, like, I know, because it's like, oh, Joe,
and then also, and then
Hardison
yeah,
be an astronaut. And goes to freaking space.
That happens, and then he mentions, Nate mentions ER,
which
who
Noah Wiley
comes on? Yes,
or Noah Weil appears on the show and starred with Christian.
He was
Kane
on
and the
ER.
Librarians.
Yeah.
Which, okay, let's be honest. Hardison going to space is just like the best thing ever, because they basically were like, you know what? We're not going to have a lot of Aldous Hodge.
Dude, it's every geek's dream to go to space.
So, and, you know, he's doing bigger and better things. So we're going to let him do bigger and better. We're going to have Hardison do bigger and better things. And literally, like the first episode of season 2, they gave Hardison a superhero entrance. Like a Batman entrance.
Fitting for his roles as
a superhero. I know. And then episode 4, they literally, like, the whole plot point though is like Parker, like, what I do love though is like they do this later in season 2, and I'll probably mention this again when we get into season 2, but Gina Bellman had to take time off of season 2 because she was pregnant, and they gave Sophie an arc about her discovering herself and leaving to discover herself. And that's what they do with, like, Hardison in both seasons 1 and 2, is essentially he's gotten too big for leverage. You know, like,
sad, but also cool.
Like, his talents have exceeded past, like, it's almost like leverage is sort of like holding him back. So they have to. So he's doing these, like, bigger things. And especially in season 2, like he's just been away helping out, doing different things in the first episode, but then, like, you get to the date night job, which is the 4th episode, and Hardison's like, you know, like he's going to space, and the whole plot of that episode is Hardison and Parker want to give each other, or is it Hardison wants to give Parker, like, one final date, like one last date night before he goes to space. Like, literally goes to space. And then Parker's arc is, like, being scared that Hardison's going to be so far away that she can't get to him if he gets in trouble. And she even says how, like, she's small enough to fit in his spacesuit. It's like,
that's adorable, though.
No. But then when Hardison's like, Parker, like, we don't need, like, date nights to, like, show how much, like, we don't need date nights to, like, be ourselves. Like, we are Parker and Hardison. And as soon as it shipped, I was like, God damn it.
In my head,
we're like a Christmas Doctor Who special.
In my head,
doctors.
In my head, when he said partisan, I started laughing. I was like, "Who in the hell has been reading my fan fiction?"
Some fucking John
And then
Rogers.
when it mentioned the Doctor Who, Son of a bitch.
Probably.
Damn it, John!
He reads the fanfics.
Yep. And when they mentioned Doctor Who like that again,
sobbing. I was sobbing.
When Hardison said that, you know what I thought of? I'm like, Parker's the custard to his fish fingers.
Oh no.
Because it's true and you know it. She's the sweet to his savory. Because he's mellow-headed and she's kind of crazy.
It's Amy and Rory.
I know. I was waiting for you to catch on to that.
2,000 years.
Yep.
2,000 years for Amy. And that's what Hardison did for Parker.
You're welcome. I made you emotional. You're welcome.
I don't have the mental stability for this. Damn it.
Too late. You brought it up. Okay, can we go on? Can we finish this, please?
Yes. Sorry, I'm
getting
I was trying to find. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. I'm getting kind of loopy too. I was trying to find the quote so I can make myself cry, but I'm not going to do that. So then Parker gets a text. Carry on. So Parker gets a text from Peggy asking about like going to coffee next week. And Parker's like, "Oh, Alice made a friend." And I was like, I'm gonna tell you one more time. You made a friend, not Alice. And Parker's like,
"Oh, that's adorable."
Like, you think she'd want to steal a painting with me?
And then Hardison looks horrified.
So it's just like, start small, Parker. Try coffee. And it's just a shot of them sitting at the table, drinking beer and eating popcorn and watching the game.
That's adorable.
Yeah, and I love that, like, when the show ends on those moments, because, like, we really get the sense that, like, they're a family. So, yeah.
Okay, I have two little final notes, which is
all right.
Both of which I've already mentioned, but I have to mention them again because it's freaking hilarious as hell.
Mm-hmm.
First one, freaking John, zoom zoom. I got the giggles.
Zooms.
It was hilarious, but I mean, I do too. And then Becca saying that she loves seeing guys crouched over Christian Kane's shoulder, and I'm like, me too. Me too, kid. Me too.
Sorry.
because the freaking muscles. And then Parker with the burger. Parker.
She was salivating.
Yeah, no, she went like.
She was salivating.
And she just chomped on it, which is hilarious. And then I have the crew is a broken family, but a family nonetheless. And I made myself cry with that last one. Because it's true. And this is evident. This is proof because they all kind of gathered around Parker.
Sorry, I'm trying to still find the quote. Ugh. Stupid. There. I don't know why I'm still looking for that. So, all right, my final notes. I love that Parker gets to learn more about people and how she keeps learning more about people the more she learns how to grift. And I also love the mentor parallel between Nate Hardison and Sophie Parker. And like they're both learning about the nature of people, but in different ways. So I love that parallel. Love Peggy. And again, real quick, mention that this is Chris Downey's idea to do a jury episode, as he was actually a corporate lawyer, like a real evil lawyer.
Angel reference.
Evil lawyer.
Oh my god, I love that. That's freaking funny as crap.
And this is actually they just dressed it differently, but it's the same courtroom set that they use on Boston Legal. And as I kind of said before, the actor who plays the Dr. Hardison embarrasses is married to the judge who's also named Kitty. And I love the screen to screen or the screen to location transitions because I find them very creative. And also, apparently, during the credits, there's usually a bit where they where the guest usually says some like thank yous. Yeah. Yeah. And in this one, apparently Rebecca Kirsch had just gotten engaged before they did the audio commentary.
Aww.
Because I think it was
John. And she's like, I don't.
John said like,
yeah, and she's like,
engaged. Like that's so sad.
And she's like, yeah, well, I don't really have much to say. Other than I love this episode. It was fun.
Yeah, it was
talking about it.
This is a very fun episode.
I mean, at this point, she's a baby writer, and
she is.
Like,
she is.
It's fun, and she was like, it's so fun to see something that your brain creates, and you write it out on paper to see it in front of you in film form. And John's like, yeah, that is fun.
Yeah, that's why I would love to be a writer, just seeing my vision come to life. And I think, though, my biggest problem with writing a script is I visualize it, so then I complicate it too much.
Same.
So, yeah.
I overanalyze every little detail.
Me
and
too.
Then my brain's like, you effed up on that, and that, and start over.
Yeah, so, all right. So that's all the notes I really had. I also very much enjoyed this episode.
I threw my paper away already.
You say, all right, so you're good. So,
yep, I'm done.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. So, I'd like to thank our parent company, NAFCO.org, our electrical consultants, West PA Systems. Again, if you want to support the podcast and support me as a creator, you can buy a coffee on Ko-Fi, which is Films and Fandoms. And I'd really appreciate it if you bought a coffee. Because, yeah, I put a lot of work into this. And it'd be nice. So please buy a coffee. You can also go to my website, KayleeSantelActing.com. You could follow me on Twitter at MissMovieFan_67. You could also follow me on TikTok at MovieFan_67. You could follow Alex on Instagram at AlexCooper7241. You can follow Alex on Twitter at AlexThe_Alex. I know it's supposed to be Alley Cat, but it's actually Ally Cat.
Whatever.
And TikTok is Alex the Alley Cat. And our sister sorry. You can go on Facebook.com/AFC East NAFCO, which is our sister podcast. And as the Facebook groups link, facebook.com/group/AFC East, and also facebook.com/MomDWorks, an affiliate of ours. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was, and a lot of shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. So next time you will see us.
As per usual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next time you will see us, we are going to be talking Almost Paradise, Season 1, Episode 10, Something Walker, This Way Comes, which is the Season 1 finale of Almost Paradise.
Sad but happy.
Yes. We're gonna have to find something else. Or just keep doing Leverage.
We could do the Librarians.
We could do the Librarians. That would be an excuse to get back into my Librarians fic.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to discuss that a bit more later.
Yeah.
But the next Leverage episode we're gonna be doing is Season 1, Episode 12, The First David Job, which is part 1 of the 2-part Season 1 finale. And we'll once again have to talk about if we're doing both episodes. Like both part 1 and part 2. If we're doing part 1, then part 2.
Yeah, we can discuss that later.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later. When we're both not tired.
Yep.
And when I'm not sick with COVID. So, I don't know if it's COVID brain fog or what.
Yeah, it's the COVID brain fog. I can tell because I've been loopy like you before with COVID, so I know.
All right, so that is everything. Now make sure to follow us, subscribe on the YouTubes, and stay tuned for the next episode. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.